Looking back at my preliminary task at the start of the coursework, I feel like I've learnt a lot about the continuity techniques and where appropriate to use them. A continuity technique I've learnt is match on action, which is where it's an order to give a sense of continuous time through a film to the audience. And I've got one example in my preliminary task of Reese walking down a corridor, and in my actual final edit of the two characters walking upstairs. Another continuity technique is eyeline match, where a character is looking at something but the audience doesn't know yet what they're looking at, but then it cuts in the film to what the character is actually looking at. I've used this in my preliminary task, where you see Ben looking at something which turns out to be Reese, and I've used this in my final cut too, where you see the character looking down at something which cuts to her phone. Other continuity techniques I've learnt is shot reverse shot and the 180-degree rule. Since the preliminary task, I've developed my skills on the editing software, and I've also developed my camera angles, shots and pans, which is seen in my final cut. I feel like I've learnt a lot about film production and how much work really goes into distributing films, such as when you look at the production companies and all the processes they have to go through in order to get a film out there. I've also learnt how shot types and editing techniques create meaning in films so the audience can relate to it, so I've been able to try and apply my editing skills in a certain way so that it does create meaning in my film. And I've also learnt that audience research is absolutely vital and a film cannot work without it, so doing all the questionnaires throughout the coursework was very useful when going through the whole filming and editing process.